Could Kyle Pitts be on his way to Kansas City? Welcome into this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. So glad to have you with us. We got a big show ahead as we're talking about the possibility of bringing in the Atlanta Falcons tight end. How likely is it to happen? Does it make sense for the Chiefs? We'll explore the possibility and the newest trade rumor in just a matter of moments. Before we do, Kingdom. We always have new people joining us here on the channel. We're up to close to 73,000 subscribers here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. And so every now and then I got to survey the Chiefs Kingdom and see how long you guys have been a Chiefs fan. There's no wrong answers here. Maybe you've been here since birth. Maybe you are somebody that's just now along for the ride, a bandwagon hopper, whether it be for Mahomes or Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift for that matter. I'm just very curious. How long have you been a Chiefs fan? If you've been a Chiefs fan for 5 years or longer, hit the like button. If not, comment and tell me how long you've been a Chiefs fan, and we'll get started with today's program. All right, let's talk Kyle Pitts now. The Atlanta Falcons tight end, former first-round pick out of Florida. The folks over at KC Kingdom, the fan-cited site, are suggesting that the Chiefs make a trade for Kyle Pitts. Let's hear what they had to say about this possibility. The Atlanta Falcons haven't been shy about the team's frustration with pass catcher Kyle Pitts. After a stellar rookie season, the production has fallen off a cliff, leading to questions about efforts and offensive scheme. Whatever the reasoning, the talent of the tight end didn't disappear. And there is no better team to unlock it than the Chiefs. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes won back-to-back Super Bowls while elevating average receivers. This included scheming speedster McCole Hardman into catching the game winner in overtime of the Super Bowl. To say that the duo are talent elevators is a vast understatement. If there is any team capable of elevating Pitts back to elite production, it is the Chiefs. Now, this is where I come in. And you may be asking, how does Tyler Jones feel about this? Well, I don't hate this idea of potentially trading for Kyle Pitts. But on the flip side, if we were to do a 180 and you were to ask me, your fearless leader, how do I feel? I don't think it's necessary as well, okay? The Kansas City Chiefs tight end room is fine for now, with Travis being better than I think he's given credit for. Noah Gray coming off a breakout campaign in 2024. And then there's Jared Wiley, who we did not see pretty much all of last season. I think they're okay. But the question about beyond 2025, when we expect Travis Kelce to potentially wind down, that's when things start to get a little interesting of, okay, should they start preparing for the future and their other options? Here is more from Nick Halden of KC Kingdom, who writes in, it seems an early day 2 pick might be enough to get the deal done in what would be a rental for the 2025 season. While this is a high price to pay for a lone season, the potential elite ability of the pass catcher makes the fit far too enticing not to consider. No question, Kyle Pitts should be a future Chief if the pass catcher truly going forward to be moved this offseason. Now, I like Kyle Pitts a lot. And I think that Kyle Pitts has some untapped potential that I think, have every reason to believe that his best football is still in front of him. As much as I like Kyle Pitts, however, I only like him at the right price. Everybody has a price tag, okay? You know, I like eating bacon as much as the next guy, but I am not going to pay too much for bacon. I'll settle for sausage instead. Everybody knows about egg prices these days, of the way that egg prices have climbed up, and I think some people said to themselves, you know what, I don't need eggs today. Well, that's the case with Kyle Pitts. I guess you could call him, with the potential price tag that's been thrown out there, and we'll show you here in just a bit, the inflation of the NFL trade market potentially. More to come. Stay tuned in a moment. Let's ask you, put your GM hat on and let us know, should the Chiefs trade for Kyle Pitts? You got two options here. Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in. Tell me in the comments section which way you're leaning towards. Folks, want to make sure you're subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report as we're bringing you the latest happenings on your favorite team each and every day with our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, live shows each and every Tuesday, breaking news. Doesn't matter if I'm in the studio hanging out with Big Tex or if I'm at home in the Jones Zone. I could be on the road on vacation for all that matters. Doesn't matter. We're going to continue to bring you breaking news and content each and every day. Your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video. Subscribe now, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's tell you more about Kyle Pitts, the Atlanta Falcons tight end, a first-round pick in 2021 out of Florida. And he was phenomenal with the Florida Gators as he was one of, if not the best players in all of college football, his final season there in the Southeastern Conference. Made an immediate impact when he went to Atlanta as a Pro Bowler, was also named a Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie Team selection. And then what happened? Well, not much. Look at his numbers in 2021 compared to what we've seen the last 3 seasons. All right? You go back to 2021, that fantastic rookie season, over 1,000 yards, 15-plus yards of reception, a touchdown. It was a really good year for him. But since then, the numbers have taken quite the decline. He missed about 7 games in 2022 with just over 350 yards receiving. His average was down about 2 or 3 yards, give or take. Then in 2023, he played in all 17 games. And you think, okay, he's fully healthy now. His numbers should take a jump up. They did not. His average was actually down year to year from 2022. And he was limited to 667 yards. And then you go to 2024, last season for Kyle Pitts. What happened there? Well, 47 catches, 602 yards, 4 touchdowns, 12.8 yards for reception. It was the worst fully healthy season of his career this past year in Atlanta, and with a new coaching staff and everything there too. So here is the million-dollar question. If you are the Kansas City Chiefs, potentially looking at Kyle Pitts, because if you trade for him, you do not want to just be content with the version of Kyle Pitts that we have seen the last few seasons. You would like to see him get back to form of what he was as a rookie. So the million-dollar question then becomes, was his one good year an anomaly? Or have we just seen that Atlanta hasn't used him to his full potential? And I think that Atlanta has not used him properly. I think he's been held back by the Atlanta Falcons, and I blame them more for him taking a few steps back the last few seasons rather than himself for what has occurred. More from Casey Kingdom. When Atlanta marches to the beat of its own drum, when it comes to managing its roster, there have been consistent trade rumblings. It is noteworthy that Pitts didn't take part in OTAs and remains in trade rumors dating back to the end of the season. So what is the trade that Casey Kingdom is suggesting? The Chiefs receive Kyle Pitts, and they give up a 2026 second-round pick. So now we circle back to where we began this show. And what did I say? I like Kyle Pitts, but I like him for the right price. We're not spending too much on eggs, folks. A second-round pick, that is a bridge too far. That is too much for a player that only has one solid year of production. Now, if we're negotiating and saying, okay, we want Kyle Pitts, but we're not giving up a second-round pick, what would you then be willing to give up? 4th-round pick? Sign me up. I'm sold. Then we have ourselves a deal. That's called negotiating, my friends. All right? 4th-round pick. If Atlanta wants to take a 4th, we can take that to the bank. Straight cash, homie. But if it's a 3rd or 2nd, no thanks. No thanks. Now, let's ask you, what about a 4th? Are you on the same page as me? Is Kyle Pitts worth giving up a fourth-round pick? Type Y for yes, in for no. Tell me in the comments section below. Now, another thing we talked about at the top of this segment was the tight end situation for Kansas City. Travis Kelce, likely in his last season. Noah Gray coming off a breakout year, but I think in all likelihood that probably is about as good as it gets for Noah Gray. I think he's one of the best number 2 tight ends in football, but I do not think that he is a true tight end 1. And that's okay, all right? But what about Jared Wiley? I know we didn't see too much of him last season with the ACL injury, but here's a guy that the Chiefs used a fourth-round pick on. And the comparisons of him coming out of Texas Christian University were to none other than Travis Kelce. So if you have Travis Kelce 2.0, in theory, sitting in your wings, then why is there all this talk, this discussion, trading for Kyle Pitts? The ACL injury isn't ideal, and he is back at minicamp at full strength. So that's a good step in the right direction. But the talent, I think, is there with Jared Wiley. He just needs to stay healthy, and I think he can capitalize on the opportunity in front of him. So, second round pick for Pitts, no thanks. Fourth round pick, now potentially we're talking. Otherwise, I don't think this situation is nearly as bad as what people are making it out to be for how the tight end room looks in Kansas City. Folks, thanks for joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.